Good evening, everyone. My name is Sylvain Cordier. I'm the Paul Mellon Curator and head of the Department of European Art at the Virginia Museum of Fine Arts. And I am very happy to represent VMFA today in this collaboration with the Richmond Symphony celebrating Beethoven. For this program of concerts, I have selected artworks from our collection that will, I hope, help illustrate the time and the visual culture of Europe at the time of our dear composer, Beethoven. The picture I selected today is this splendid portrait of Count de Vaudreuil by an iconic artist of France in the 18th century, Elisabeth-Louise Vigée-Lebrun. It is dated 1784, so corresponding to the young years of Beethoven, and it represents the Count de Vaudreuil, who was a prominent courtier of the reign of Louis XVI. And interestingly enough, Vaudreuil was born on the American continent into a wealthy family of plantation owners in the French Antilles Islands. This painting is a remarkable example of aristocratic portraiture in the end of French Ancien Régime. As you can see, the Count is portrayed with all the attributes of his condition as a nobleman. He's wearing the sword, he's wearing the badges, notably, of royal chivalry orders. Yet it seems like all of the decorum that is used by the artist to make us understand that he is an aristocratic man is here maybe to emphasize the fact that in Vigée-Lebrun's mind, Vaudreuil's personality seems richer, more interesting, and definitely something to notice and to appreciate more than his status as an aristocrat. We can see that he is a good friend, that he's pictured in what seems to be a pleasant conversation with her. And in a sense, the picture is more the portrait of a happy conversation between the sitter and the painter than just a formal representation of his status. And as such, it's a very renewed way of understanding the purpose of a portrait of that genre. We see that he's smiling, we see that he's talking with an open mouth, that he's in the middle of an interesting conversation. Of course, it's an image that we must look at and that we must appreciate, and we must appreciate it because it is a masterpiece of art. But we want to look at it not naively and not out of context, and especially I think it's a picture that we want to look at, bearing in mind, of course, the amount of inequality that was at stake in order to picture this portrait that appears as a very friendly and very happy encounter between Elisabeth Vigée-Lebrun and Vaudreuil. Of course, taking into account like the enslaved population that built the Vaudreuil family's fortune in the Antilles and that in the end made him capable of becoming a very important courtier at the time, and up to the system of also exclusive social values of aristocratic privilege that was at the time ensuring the wealth and position of noble families at the time over the rest of the French population. Now, you can ask what is the direct relation with tonight's concert. Well, I was inspired by the correspondence, telling a bit about the correspondence between art and music in the use of the term bagatelle. You know that we are going to hear tonight two bagatelles composed by Beethoven, and as you know, a bagatelle is a short, pleasant piece of music that is to be listened with happiness, in happiness. It comes from a French term that designates any kind, actually, of little thing that brings you an instant of joy and of pleasure. And even in the 18th century, It became synonym with a libertine love affair between two lovers, a love affair without consequence. Now, the relation to our portrait of Vaudreuil and the concert tonight I made because at the time Vaudreuil enjoyed a great position at court, thanks mainly to his friendship with Louis XVI's, King Louis XVI's brother, the Comte of Artois, the Count of Artois. And Artois at the time was this young playboy, spectacular socialite, and high spender of the kingdom's money. And Artois had purchased a residence in these years near Paris, between Paris and Versailles, which he intended to use only for receiving and entertaining friends and guests, and especially his many mistresses. And the castle, as you can imagine, was known as the Château de Bagatelle. Now, the story of Bagatelle as a chateau is well known, and you maybe know it already, that Artois, after purchasing the estate, was a bit frustrated with the look of the castle that he had built, and kind of wanted to transform it and redecorate it completely in a more fashionable manner. And his sister-in-law, the Queen Marie Antoinette herself, kind of made a bet with him that he wouldn't be able to have all those reconstruction of the building made completely finished in 3 months, 100 days. And so Artois bet with her that he could do it, and eventually he won. He won by employing 900 workers, paying millions of pounds, but in the end he succeeded in having his castle completed. The result, the castle still stands, the Château de Bagatelle still stands today in the west of Paris, and it became this exquisite folly and probably one of the most accomplished examples of neoclassical architecture and decoration. It's a precious, wonderful little manor in the west of Paris. The huge cost at the same time provoked a public scandal and in the opinion, and it definitely played its part in the growing unpopularity of the French court that eventually led, as we know, to the French Revolution. So here is my little Bagatelle story tonight. I want to point out that Vaudreuil's portrait, dating from 1784, was portrait at the time that Beethoven was between 13 and 14 years old. At the time he was a student in music, living in Bonn in Germany, and he had just published his first composition. I wish all of us, a very pleasant concert and an excellent evening. Thank you very much.